Let's take a look at what's going on with Dogecoin today, guys. All right, so it looks like we're in a downtrend right now. Yesterday we were in an uptrend. The day before that we were in a downtrend. And the day before that we were in an uptrend. We're watching these trend lines. We're on tradingview.com right now. And if you're new to the channel or new to trading, check out my beginner tutorial, but how to set up the chart. But basically, we're looking at the bottoms of this. We're looking at the bottoms when we're going to the upside, and we're looking at the tops when we're going to the downside. So we have this top, 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 top. This is going down. Once we break these trends, then we're starting another trend pretty much. So we went down for a while, then we broke it, started heading up. Then we look at the bottoms again, bottom, 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 heading up. Then we broke that going to the downside. Now we're looking at the tops because we're going down. The top, 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 top. So until we break this downtrend going to the upside, then we can count on it to go down still. But once it does break, then that's when we can start changing direction. Um, yeah, so we're basically in a small little downtrend. It seems like we've kind of been going sideways, honestly, for the past couple days, and we're just kind of getting some movement. I mean, there's still like quite a bit. Like from this bottom to this top was around 9.7%. From the top down was around 6.7, and then from the this bottom to this top, 4%. It's getting smaller and smaller though, which kind of makes me think that we're kind of forming a pattern. So we could also find patterns in these in this like the way it's kind of developed. So let's go ahead and okay. So the other thing we would do is find the bottoms and the tops again. So we have a bottom right here, a bottom right here, and let's go ahead and drag that out. And it looks like, I don't know, it's holding support right now. And then the other thing, we do it on the top too. So we have this top right here and then this top right here. Let's go ahead and delete the other trend lines because we've already broken them. Those are just kind of to show you how we got here. But we almost are, I don't know, it kind of seems like forming like a symmetrical triangle, and it's getting tighter and tighter. So when we form these patterns, then we wait for it to break to the upside or to the downside to get like a better trading idea of where it's going to actually go. Or it gives us a better idea, should I say. Right now, we're just kind of bouncing in between these. But so we're waiting for a breakout. And um, once we actually do break these, then it's very possible that we get a breakout. Like I've been talking about in my videos, we've been seeing declining volume, like where the volume is declining, and that's another sign of like a pattern, I guess, is declining volume. Once we actually break out, then the volume should start popping, and start getting either volume to the upside or volume to the downside. If it's up, it'll be a green candle. If it's down, it'll be a red candle. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think we're waiting for a breakout right now, is my point. We have a little symmetrical triangle right here. What we could do with these patterns usually is we can drag from the top to the bottom of the triangles. And I usually drag from the top to the bottom, or the bottom to the top, whatever, in the middle, around the middle. You could kind of argue that you can come and bring it back over here and do something like this. I mean, I don't know. You could maybe argue head and shoulders, but I don't really love that because usually head and shoulders is a reversal pattern. So you'd be going up, and then once it breaks the neckline, because you have a shoulder, shoulder, and head. And once we break this neckline, usually it's like a straight line right there where this one comes into contact, it comes up, this one comes into contact, and then if we break that going to the downside, then it's a reversal pattern. But right here, as you can kind of see, we came down and then we kind of formed it. But going back to where you target, you drag from the top to the bottom, and that's how you would target a head and shoulders. The head, shoulder, opposite, shoulder, head, shoulder. You would drag from the top to the bottom of the head and shoulders on the head to the shoulder line, or the neckline, should I say, and then you would drag that to the breakout, which would probably mean that we would be going down. But like I said, we didn't come up to get here. We're going down to get here. So I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, no. I'm still sticking with my symmetrical triangle. And so let's go ahead and target the top to the bottom of this. Like I said, I'm going to do it in the middle. You could kind of argue that it's over here, but I'm just going to do it over here to be conservative about the target. And let's go ahead and drag this to the breakout. Let's say it goes down. We'd be looking at the previous bottoms down here. It kind of lines up with the previous bottoms. Excuse me. This target is sitting at around 10257. If we go to the downside, I mean, if we broke right now, if it went up a little bit more, then it'd be a little different target. But if we break it going to the upside, let's go ahead and check that out. It'd be 11355, which would kind of bring us back to this previous top over here. So yeah, when we start forming these patterns, we wait for breakouts to get more, have a better idea on whether it's going to go down or up, because then usually we get some more momentum. And like I've been talking about, declining volume, once we actually break it, then we might see some bigger volume candles and either pushing us down or up. Let's go ahead and take a look at the daily and the 9 moving average on there, because that's another thing that we've been looking at a lot on this channel or my videos. Let's go ahead and delete these trend lines real quick, and let's just focus on the moving average. So like I've been talking about, as long as when we're on top of it, like, okay, right here we broke above this 9 moving average, is this blue line right here, the 9 moving average on the daily time frame. When we break above it, we get support on it and can't push to the upside. And when we break below it, let's actually use this little right here. When we break below it, then we come into contact with it and get pushed to the downside and get resistance on it. Right now we are below the 9 moving average, but I've been also talking about how I like it when it's more of like this pattern or this formation as opposed to this formation. And kind of check it out, it kind of is forming that like scooping pattern as opposed to the roof pattern like I've been talking about. So right now we are below it, bad sign, but we are kind of forming that scooping pattern. So let's see if it can, which makes it easier for us to break through it. Like right here, we came into contact when it was like above us and got rejected. When we're kind of going into it sideways, let's do something like this. When we're going into it sideways, then maybe we can like sneak past it and then start getting to the being above it, and then maybe it'll hold support on it. So yeah, this is kind of what I'm looking at. Let's go ahead and take a look at the weekly and the monthly. That's another thing that I was kind of checking out. We're above the weekly still, and that's good. Like I was just talking about, if we're above it, then we can get support on it and maybe get pushed to the upside. But if we head over to the monthly, we are definitely below it. So maybe in the bigger time frame, we still have some time before we can really get bullish. I think we really want to be above all these 9 moving averages, and right now we're below on the monthly. We're above it on the weekly, which is good. And then the daily, we're below it as well. So yeah, those are some of the things that I'm kind of looking at. There was another thing. Oh yeah. Okay, so let's even go back and let's zoom out actually, because I haven't really zoomed out in a while. We've been looking at like the smaller time frames, and this is kind of not what brought me back to making videos, but like kind of made me think that we might be getting a pump. So we have this big run, and I drew my Fibonacci retracement chart, but we have a top, we have a top, we have a top. And I was watching this trend line right here. Basically, like I was saying, when we're going down, we look at the tops, and when we're going up, we look at the bottoms. So we were heading down, and check it out. So we have this trend line, but we broke it going to the upside right here. So I don't know, like that's why I've been kind of waiting. I'm like, I wonder if we're gonna start going up because we broke this big downtrend that we've been in for a while. The other thing too is when we have this formation, then we also look at the bottoms, and we have a bottom, 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 and this kind of looks like a falling wedge in my opinion. If you're not familiar with patterns, then a falling wedge is basically when we're going down and it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, and then we break out, and then we can start targeting the previous resistances or the previous tops. We kind of came up to that first one, that first little breakout, but yeah, I think in general just breaking that trend might be a good sign, but we haven't really picked up a lot of steam like I've been talking about with the volume. We had a pretty good decent amount of volume back in this area, then declining volume, and then it's just been kind of like stale a little bit. And I remember it was like this back in like these days when it was, let's see, where is it? Maybe in this era or maybe this era. I don't remember completely, but it was like we got a huge spike and then we just like went sideways for a while, and then eventually we did get that next spike to the upside, and then kind of went sideways for a while, and then actually went down for it was actually a long while, and then this past like year, I think it was like the last year or two, we finally got that big spike. And so yeah, let's see what happens though. I wonder how long it's gonna take us. Like, are we gonna? So we had this little big spike right here, this big spike, and then we went down, kind of like here, boom, down, and then we went sideways for a while. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of curious if we're in kind of this like stage over here, but at the same time too, we went sideways, but we'd have little pops. You know what I mean? Like from here to here, that was a nice little pop. Let's go ahead and calculate the bottom to the top of that. That was 144% little bump right here. Boom, 144. So I mean, that's timing it perfectly. That's like hitting that bottom, and then but it gave us plenty of time to get in on that bottom and then get a nice little pop. Same with this little area, nice little bottom, and then it finally popped over here. And let's calculate the bottom to the top of this. That was around 146%. Even that first pop was around 100%. So yeah, let's see how long. Okay, so the point is let's see how long we go sideways, because we broke. Let's take it back a little bit again. We had a downtrend like this where we were going down. We were looking at the tops, and then we broke it going sideways. Let's see. Okay, so that's basically kind of a similar situation that I was just talking about. We were going down, we had the tops, and now we're breaking it sideways. So let's see how long it's going to go sideways, and let's see if we can get a pop. We just got a little pop the other day. It was probably like, what? I don't know, 10-15%, I think. Let me calculate that as well. Let's get the ruler. So there's this ruler tool. You could drag from the bottom to the top or vice versa. And we went up, so we'll drag from the bottom to the top, and that's around 38% that we just had from the bottom to the top. Anyways, that's timing it perfectly, but still, even if we bought at the breakout, let's see what breaking that trend excuse me, from that breakout to the top is around 26%. So yeah, those are kind of some of the things that I'm looking at on Dogecoin today. I still have my target sitting at around 9.2. I'm kind of curious if we're going to come down. I would like to come down and touch that, scoop up some more. Even if we go down to 8 cents, I wouldn't mind. Hopefully we can hold this Fibonacci retracement level and the previous start of this big run. But I'm kind of looking at .09. I sold a little bit of Dogecoin on Robinhood that I had laying around, and yeah, so and then let me show you where I actually sold it, because it's funny because right when I sold it, it popped to the upside, and then it's been kind of chilling right in that area. So let me delete all these trend lines, but that red line is where I sold some Dogecoin on Robinhood. I still have Coinbase Dogecoin, a nice little position, but actually not little, but well, I don't know, little. So yeah, I sold it, I think somewhere like right here, and then it went down, but then it popped right back up, and then came back down. Or no, it was this area, I'm sorry. Sold it right here, and then it popped up, and then it came down. It's been kind of toying around right in that area, right? It's like using that like red line as support. So like, let's see. This is where I sold it. I'm hoping to come back down here and if we calculate that from that to that not 0.92 target, it's around 12-13%, 12%, 12.8, somewhere around there. So just like kind of playing around with it a little bit, kind of seeing if I can call it. But so far it hasn't really performed that great. It's just been kind of chilling right in this area. So yeah, let's see what happens in the next couple days. Like I was saying, I'm watching that. Let's go back to this one. Let's go to the 4-hour again, and let's draw that triangle that I was watching. We have this top, we have a bottom, kind of a bottom right there. Let's go ahead and just draw it like that, and we'll use those. Let's see if we can break this going to the upside or downside or upside. Actually, I'm kind of hoping the downside, but either one, I don't care. Like I said, I have Dogecoin, so if it started mooning or whatever, if it started going high, then I'd be great too. But just kind of playing around with it. Let me know what you guys think though, and if you guys like this video, hit the thumbs up, and if you want to watch the last one, check it out right here. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one.